So to the brothers of the talented 10th District, our ladies, gentlemen, guests, and friends, I'll bid you good evening. I am Brother Marcel Clark, your 10th District Keeper of Finance, and I humbly welcome you to our financial oil series. During the series, our goal is to equip you with financial knowledge that will benefit you in ways different than what you see every day. At this time, if I'm in order, I do want to acknowledge the leadership of the 10th District. I do want to first acknowledge our DR, Brother Sean T. Long, the 38th 10th District Representative. I want to acknowledge our first Vice DR, Brother Marquis Sanya. I saw him on the call. Our second Vice DR, Brother Joshua Gregory. We have our District Keeper of Records and Seal, Brother Jason Poindexter. I did see our District Counselor on here, Brother Richard Jones. And I believe that would be it that I've seen for the district officers. So I definitely wanted to acknowledge you all and appreciate you all participating in this financial oil series. Before we get started, Brother DR, did you want to have any opening comments?
Thank you, Brother Clark. First and foremost, this series is an extremely important series for us, this financial oil spill. When you look at our communities and you look at where we are, probably the two weakest links in our community is health and wealth. And so with Omega and with this administration, what we're looking at doing is we're looking to build both. We want to help you build your health, and we also want you to build your wealth. And so I'm extremely proud to be a part of this series, and I was very happy when Brother Clark brought this to my attention that this is what he wants to do. This is going to be the first in a number of series just like this. And so, brothers, what we want you to do is we want you to walk away. We're going to have some takeaways today that we want you to walk away with, that you would be able to empower people in your household and your family and things like that. When you look around in our homes, you will see, we need some help. And it starts with knowledge. And so I want to thank Sister Rome for jumping on and being a part of this and helping launch the financial oil spill. And I also want to thank the executive team for rallying around and supporting this. And with that being said, Brother Clark, I'll yield back the rest of my time.
We thank you, Brother DR Long, for those opening remarks. And without further ado, we're going to jump right into the session. So I want to introduce you our presenter for the evening, Ms. Karenita Roan, who will tell you a little bit more about herself and will administer the series today. Ms. Roan, you do have access to share your screen whenever you're ready.
All right, good evening, everyone. I am just really honored to be here this evening to share some insight on building personal and business credit. I want to thank Mr. Marcel Clark for inviting me. And hopefully the knowledge that I'm going to share with you this evening, this game plan that I'm going to give you, the strategies that I'm going to give you, you're going to take them immediately and start implementing them, not only in your personal lives, but reaching one. And I'm going to say it again, reaching someone else who also needs to level up and boss up on improving their business and their personal credit. I was extremely honored to be asked to present for the men of Omega Psi Phi Incorporated. My dad and both of my brothers are members of this prestigious organization. So once again, thank you to the 10th District and Mr. Clark and the members of Omega Psi Phi Incorporated. Well, it's game time. It's time to learn what you need to do to build personal and business credit. So what I'm going to do this evening is devise a plan that you're going to be able to use. In order to devise a plan, we're going to have to take out the playbook. So if you have some paper and pencil, I'm a professor by trade. That's what I've done, what I've done for 30 years. And so I'm gonna come to you today as you're my students in my classroom. I want you to write down things that you, like I said, you can take away from here and learn, and you can level up in your personal credit or your business credit. So the first thing you need to understand is a vision. Where do you want to go? If you're on this call tonight because you're working on your personal credit, where is it you want to go? Are you trying to purchase a new home? Are you trying to buy a car? Are you just want to do, you're just trying to improve your credit score? If you're on here for your business, where is it you're trying to go? You're trying to get funding from other people. So in getting funding from other people, you have to have a credit score. You have to show lenders that you have the ability to repay if they give you any type of loan. And the mission, how are you going to get there? What plan do you have in place to be able to get to the point of getting this home, of establishing this business credit? So tonight I want to share with you some strategies and some game plans that I know will work for you and will work for our communities. Just to tell you a little bit about my background in the credit world, I've been dealing with credit all my life. I started with credit maybe 20 years ago. And I said to myself, something is not right. I've paid over $4,000 to repair my credit, got the job done, but 2 months down the road, my credit score was back in the dumps. So I said to myself, okay, let me try another credit repair and see if they can assist me, with getting my credit score up. Well, paid another $1,200. They went in and did some work and they got me where I wanted to go, but I continuously was right back to point zero. So I said to myself, you know what? It's now time for me to educate myself on credit and find out what is it, Kim, you are doing wrong. So I started reading everything in sight about building credit, personal credit, business credit, listening to blogs, reading different types of blogs, anything I could do, going to workshops and going to all of these different seminars and reading all of this literature. I was able to take away some strategies, what I want you to take away tonight. Then I took those strategies and I said to myself, now I'm going to have to see if these strategies work. Well, lo and behold, those strategies work. When I first, sent my first dispute letter in, I was amazed that the collection came off my credit report. So I said, well, let me do another one. And boom, another collection came off my credit report. And I started to see my credit score go up and up and up from the strategies that I learned. And I was saying to myself, I could be $4,000 richer if I had just taken the time, do it yourself, learn for yourself. Because see, if you don't know what's causing your credit score to be in the 500, how are you going to fix it? You can get someone else to fix it, but you're going to go right back, just like I did. So I want to give you a game plan tonight to help you to understand all we need is a little oil and energy, and you can take this to the next level. One second, my computer is. Hey, so we have a football field here. There's some of you here tonight and you're working on your personal credit. And there's some people here that are working on their business credit. So my goal, it doesn't matter which way you're going on the football field, the goal is to get to the end zone. Because let's think about it. Many of us go to football games. And what happens when that person takes that ball down to the end zone? Everybody is cheering. Everyone is excited. So that's the same thing I want to happen for you. I want to give you strategies that you can move 10 yards and eventually find yourself down there in the end zones. Find yourself excited and happy because you've accomplished. You've put in that energy. You use some of that oil to get the ball rolling. So let's take a pre-quiz credit. Question 1. Where can you obtain a free credit report? You can type in the chat. Where can you obtain a free credit report? Question 2. Who are the credit reporting agencies? Because see, that's important to me. If these people have a hold on my credit, and this is who the lenders are communicating with, let me say that again. The lenders are communicating with these credit reporting agencies, and they're communicating, they're trying to find out, are you paying your bills on time? Are you under your debt utilization? So it's important that you know who these game players are. And then why do we even need credit scores? You know, what's the purpose of credit scores? So I'm giving you a few minutes to type some of your answers in the chat. All right, so number 1, where can you obtain a free credit report? You definitely can get a free credit report from annualcreditreport.com. There are other sources out there, but this is where I retrieve my report from every year. Many of you are going to get started working on your taxes, or you have a tax person, and this is what they're doing. They're looking at the income that you brought in this year. They're looking at the things that you can write off. You need to do the same thing. You need to do an audit on your credit report. So you need to see, is there anything on your credit report that is inaccurate that we can dispute? Do you have items in collection that we can dispute? So it's important to know exactly what your credit report says, because your credit report is your financial mosaic. And each one of us have a different mosaic. It's like a thumbprint. We all have something different reflecting about our financial stability. So who are the credit reporting agencies? We have TransUnion, Equifax, and Experian. Each one of these agencies communicates with lenders. These lenders are sending information to them about your ability to repay a debt. So if you have an auto loan, and whoever your auto loan is with, they're reporting. That's one of your trade lines. And we're going to talk about that a little later. Your trade lines are reporting every month, not every 2 months, not every 3 months. They're reporting every month how well you're doing with repaying your debt. And so why do we even need credit scores? So I'm going to just use an example here. You have a family member. That family member comes to you and says, you know, can I borrow $1,000? You're like, okay, I have it. So when are you going to be able to pay me back? I can pay you back, next month. So next month comes, you don't get your money. 3 more months are here, you still haven't received your money. So you're wondering, when are you going to get your money? So now you start communicating with other family members about your money. This same person is going to go to another family member and ask, can they borrow some money? That family member is going to be like, well, thinking you haven't paid back the person that you borrowed money for 3 months ago. So this is the way lenders look at us. They don't know us. We're strangers. The only thing that they can gauge is our ability to repay a debt. So it is important that when we go out and we acquire these loans, these credit cards, that we pay our bills on time. These are the rating scores, and everyone on this call, you fall somewhere on this chart. Some of you on here are very good. Some people are good. Your credit score is 670 and up to 739. Some of you are fair, and then some of you are poor. And I mean poor as your credit score. So you know where you fall on this line in the work that you need to do in order to improve. I know where I am on this line. And I can tell you now that I'm not in the very good, but I'm working to get in the very good. I'm in the good, but I'm working to get in the very good. And it takes work. It's not a overnight type of assignment. The other part is, this is really important. So how is your credit score weighted? Well, the 3 CRAs, the credit reporting agencies, they look at these different items, these factors in determining your credit score. I'm going to talk about 2 of them because these are the 2 that's the most important. The first one is your available credit. They're looking at all of those credit cards that you have and seeing if you're under the 30% utilization. They're also looking at your payment history. Are you paying all of these trade lines that you have on your credit report? Are you paying them on time? Or do you have a bunch of red? When the lenders pull your credit report, are they seeing a lot of red, seeing a lot of yellow? Are they seeing a lot of green? So when you go and pull your credit report, if you haven't done this year, I want you to look at the colors reflected in these different categories, especially the available credit and the payment history, because that makes the biggest part of the pie. And if that's the biggest part of the pie, you definitely want to address that section first. So what am I going to do to get you to move 10 yards? Because you got to get to the end zone, and that's where we all want to go. Well, tonight I'm going to talk about 2 ways you can get to the end zone in 90 days, and you're going to see some growth. So if you have your pen and your playbook, we're going to write down a few things that's going to help you get there. The first item we're going to discuss is disputing items on your credit report. Then we're going to talk about your credit card. So we're talking about 2 things: disputing and taking a look at your credit cards. So with the dispute process, this is when you are going to actually talk with the collection agencies and ask the collection agencies to verify what they are reporting each month to the credit reporting agencies, because it's affecting your credit score. Now, I have several letters that I'm going to send Mr. Clark, and these letters, they work. Like I said, I started disputing my credit years ago. And so I said, you know what, let me see if this works for me, is it also going to work for others? So I started with my family members, giving them the letters to dispute, and sure enough, the collection started coming off. Then I took it out into the community, to my sorority sisters, to my friends, and sure enough, they were calling back, Kim, this is actually helping me. I can't believe that the collection actually came off my credit report. So these are proven letters that are going to get the job done. So what are the things that you can dispute? Well, you can dispute incorrect personal information on your report. Negative items that are just sitting there on your report, just collecting dust. If they're old, they need to come off. And also inaccurate reporting of information in your account far as in collection. So this is the letter that I love to send. And I give this letter to everyone because this is the letter that really gets them. I send this to the collection. This is the one that I sent to the collection agencies. And the first thing I say to them in my letter is, according to my knowledge, I do not have an account with you. You are calling me and you were telling me that this is an attempt to collect a debt. Well, I don't even know you. Who are you? So if it's an attempt to collect a debt from me, you're asking for money from me, then I need for you to give me some proof. Because to me, you're a third party person. So I list these things in my letter of what I want this collection agency to provide me, because that's my right. And if you cannot provide this information for me, now I'm going to take it a step further and I'm going to deal with the credit reporting agency. I need to let TransUnion know. I need to let Experian know. I need to let Equifax know that you can't provide me the information that I'm looking for. And so lo and behold, this always works because the collection agencies cannot get the information. Now you do have one or two collection agencies out there. They're going to do it. They're going to find and send you everything that you're asking for. So what do you do, Kim, when that happens? You ask for a pay for deletion. So you're going to talk with that collection agency and you're going to work out a deal. You're going to tell them, I'm willing to pay this debt. What can we work out? And when I pay this debt, I want it deleted from my credit report. You always get the pay for deletion in writing. Never have them tell you, okay, if you pay the debt, then we'll take it off your report. You need a paper trail. And this works, really 99% of the time. And the only reason I suggest this, if you have disputed and you go back and do a second dispute, you can continue disputing, but you remember I said you have to know where you're going. So if you're trying to get a house in 90 days, it's not going to be worth it to continue disputing with the collection agency. You need to take it a step further and try to resolve it with a pay for deletion. Now, like I said, you want to get that pay for deletion because when you go to the mortgage lender, they cannot guarantee you a loan if you have an open dispute. And the reason they can't guarantee that loan because they need all of your loans, all of your disputes open. They need either closed, because they have to know when they're giving you your home budget, if you have $15,000 that you're disputing, they want to know, do I include this in your debt or do I not include it? So they can't give you a fair home budget until they know that this debt is actually going to be a part of the calculation when they start to assign you your loan for going out and shopping for a home. So if you are planning to get a home, make sure that you start disputing like 6 months ahead of time, because you're going to need all of that ironed out before you go to the mortgage lender. Now, what happens when you are ready to mail your dispute letters? I always get my dispute letters notarized. I want them to know that I mean business. I go to the bank, have them notarize my letters. I tell everyone in the letters that I send out to them, get it notarized. I send a copy of my driver's license and any supporting documentation that I have. And I also send it certified mail because I want to know who is receiving it on the other end. So these steps are very, very important because this actually gets the time clock rolling. Remember, the collection agencies have 30 days to respond to you. So you need that certified mail date stamp because it lets you know from the time you sent the letter, and then you're going to count the 30 days, give a, or take a few more days because of the weekends, but you do need that certified letter. Now, here are the addresses of the 3 credit reporting agencies: Experian, TransUnion, and Equifax. And don't be afraid to communicate with these people. They're business owners. These are people who started their own business and just making tons and tons of money because lenders use them to find out our ability to pay, our ability to pay back debt. Now, this is the one that is the cake taker. And this really plagues the Black community. Credit cards. I didn't realize how detrimental credit cards can be. When I was in college, I attended Bethune-Cookman University. A gentleman, I was out on the beach, and a gentleman came up to me and my girlfriend and said, would the two of you be willing to go around and pass out these brochures for college students to get credit cards? And I said, okay. And he said, every credit card that is approved, you're going to get money. And so I was like, wow, that's all I have to do is give out brochures. So I went and started passing these things out. And, I overnight became popular, more popular. And everyone was saying, Kim, I want one, because the credit cards now start coming in the mail. And everybody was getting the credit cards. At that time, you had gas cards, all kind of stuff. And they were running to the mall and just charging. But I didn't realize at that time how that really hurt a lot of people in their credit. Because although we hadn't established credit, we didn't understand that when you get these credit cards, you have to pay back. And you have to pay back on time. And if you don't pay back on time, there's going to be a penalty. And that penalty is going to be your credit score. So I want to talk a little bit about credit cards because this is the biggie. Now, credit cards, they're double trouble. If you're not a responsible person, they're double trouble. I'm going to say that again. Credit cards are double trouble. Number one, if you don't pay them on time, you're going to get some points deducted from your credit score. And if you are over your utilization, you're going to get some more points deducted from your credit score. So now you're in double trouble. And when you get your credit score, every 15 days or at the end of the month, you're like, ooh, why is it so low? So you see, I put it in red. It's something about that red. That red is that color to me signifies trouble. I'm not a fan of red. I don't know who on here is a fan of red, but I'm just not a fan, of the red. But you have to make sure that you are, and I'm going to keep saying that because it's important. We have to understand it. You have to pay your bills on time. Now let's look at utilization. I'm going to just break it down to the lowest common denominator because, like I said, I went to college at HBCU and, math wasn't my thing. So I'm going to break it down where I can explain it, but, you all get it. So the rule of thumb is to keep your utilization under 30%. I use the 20% rule because I want to make sure all my credit cards, when the statement date hits, it needs to be under the 20% for me. But at least if it's under the 30%, I know that I'm not going to take a hit on my credit card. So your credit card limit is $1,000. 30% utilization, it needs to be at $300. So that means when the statement date on your credit card statement, you need to have that balance reflecting that amount. So let's take this a step further. So here is the statement date for this credit card report. If my credit utilization cannot be over $200, at this statement date, I need to have the balance reflecting $200 or less. So it's important for every card that you have, there are two important dates that you need to know about. You need to know the due date, because remember that due date, it'll cause some points if you don't pay on time. And you need to know your statement date, because if you are over your utilization, when that statement date hit or closes, you're gonna lose some more points. So for all the men of Omega Psi Phi, when you go to district, when you go to conclave, and you put all of your expenses on your credit cards, you need to know your statement date to make sure that all those expenses that you have added, that is not over your utilization. Trade lines. Why are trade lines important? Trade lines, that's a good thing. You know, a lot of people think trade lines are bad. No, trade lines are good. We add trade lines to our report and we delete collections from our report. So as long as you're adding trade lines and you're paying them on time, that's what lenders want to see. So what are some of the main trade lines that we'll find on our credit report, especially when you go and you pull your credit report this year so you can do your audit? If you have a car loan is good. A lot of people say, I want to pay my car off. You know, that's good as well. But I want to have, if I have a car loan, I want it to reflect that I'm paying it on time. A mortgage is a trade line. Whoever you have your loan with, they're reporting it every month. All your credit cards are being reported every month. And if you have any loans, you could have a personal loan that you've taken out. Maybe you have a secured card, or you've done any type of line of credit. All of those things are being reported to the CRAs every month. So you need to know every one of your trade lines on your credit report. How many people know every trade line that's being reported? Because that would be important to me to know who's reporting to those CRAs. I want to make sure I'm paying those people on time. And so what lenders like to see in our trade lines, they like a mix of credit. They want to see revolving credit and installment loans. That shows them that you can handle different types of loans and the ability to repay those loans back. So when you look at your report, your credit report, when you pull it, see how many revolving lines of credit you have and how many installment. And your revolving credit is like your car, your mortgage, and installment credit are going to be all of those credit cards, whether it's secured or unsecured. So here we are at the touchdown with personal credit. I just gave you some strategies and put you on game. It's very easy to repair your personal credit. See, all you have to do is dispute the items in collections. And I have tons of letters, and my letters are powerful. They get the job done because I let the collection agency know that you're going to work. You're not going to tell me I have a debt and just give you money. I just gave you game. I just gave you another 10 yards. I told you that you need to take out your credit cards and see if those credit cards, the balance is under the 30% utilization, but I used the 20% rule. See, that used to be something that was really good back in the day. You know, I was like, ooh, look at him. You know, you go out to dinner and a gentleman open up his wallet and you see all those credit cards. But see, I've educated myself now. You have a lot of credit cards, but are they at the max? See, I'm going to ask that question because I need to know that. Then you need to know the due date and the statement date, because you remember that credit card is double trouble. If you don't pay on time and you're over your utilization, it's not going to work. So that's another 10 yards I gave you. In the last 10 yards, establish a mix of trade lines. And that's going to get you to the end zone each and every time. Keep you winning, keep you leveraging your credit. So that is the personal credit, and that's the quick fix. That's the fix that I didn't have, that I had to pay the $4,000 for. I had to learn, Kim, you can't go to Nordstrom's, you can't go to Macy's and just charge up and just pay the minimum due on your credit card. Yes, you're paying it on time, but you're still over your 30%. You have to educate yourself on how to level up with your finances. So now we're going to move over to business credit, because see, personal credit is a lot harder to do because you've been, that credit score has been accumulated over time. But with business credit, you're starting out brand new. If you just open a business today, you're starting out brand new. So let's take a look at the business side of this. So we're back here on this football field, and I'm going to help some people who are trying to establish business credit take you to the end zone. So first, let's look at business credit versus personal credit. Both lenders are going to look, do you repay your debt? They want to know that. Now, on the personal side, the credit rating scale is used 300 to 850. The higher the score, the better it is to lenders. And on the business side, they use the PAYDEX score, and it's 0 to 100. How you manage your personal obligations is what lenders look at from a personal aspect. In business, they want to see how you manage your business credit. These are the monitors that are going to monitor this. And we talked about the big three, the CRAs. And on the business side, you have Dun & Bradstreet, Experian, and Equifax. There are a few others, but lenders, mainly when it comes to business credit, will actually pull a report from Dun & Bradstreet. So restaurant. Why do I have a restaurant up there? This has nothing to do with credit. I like to eat. I like to go to good restaurants and eat. And so when I travel, the first thing I do when I'm planning, I go to TripAdvisor, Yelp, and I want to read the reviews. If you have a 1-star, you're not going to get my money. I'm not even giving my money to any restaurant with 2 stars. I'm looking for 4 and 5-star restaurants. Well, that's how lenders look at business credit. When you establish business credit, a lender is not going to give you any money if you have a 1-star or 2 stars. They're only going to lend their money to people who have shown they will pay their debt. Now, this is where I went wrong in business. I didn't understand this. And many of you on the call today, the way our parents measured their success was making sure we got a top-notch education. They worked hard, so they really didn't have time to teach us a lot on financial literacy. And I didn't understand when I went into business not to use my own money, that I need to leverage off of other people's money. But now I get it. I got it late, but I have it. So see, the better your credit score, the more money you're going to be able to make rain. And the more money you can make rain, the more you're going to see your money start to grow. So the whole idea of getting business credit is so you can leverage on other people's money. So this is game right here. Very easy. Business credit is very easy to establish. You have to set up a name for your business and register with your state. You need to incorporate a limited liability company. And I don't know a lot about, what type of company based upon what you're doing. Get a federal employer identification number, your EIN. This is the way they're going to track how much money you're earning and what you're going to report to the IRS. You never want to use your Social Security number when you are working with business. Always separate your business from your your business from your personal credit. You never mix the two. They don't mix. I'm not going to say a president's name, but the one thing, he walked away from a lot of deals. But you know what? When he walked away, it wasn't his money. It was other people's money that he had used. Use your EIN to open up a business bank account. You're going to use that EIN to open up credit cards, if you have a lease, utilities, all of this, because a lot of this stuff is, write-off. Don't open up, you don't put anything in your personal name and use your personal social security. And then you need to set up a dedicated phone line in your business name. Now, this is game here. You have to have a DUNS number. I cannot tell you the number of business owners that don't have a DUNS number. How are you going to establish business credit without a DUNS number? Dun & Bradstreet starts the whole process off of building your credit. So soon as you get your DUNS number, and it usually takes no longer than 30 days. It just depends on the season. When a lot of people are opening businesses, they are pretty quick and it's free. But you cannot start to establish trade lines without this number. So once you get your number from DUNS, you can start to build your first trade line. When you build your first trade line, that's going to kick off your credit report and your credit score. So I'm going to give you some trade lines that you can start off with. And these trade lines, all you have to do is send them your that you're registered with the state. Your business information is very easy. Your EIN number, and you can start building credit right away. I love Uline. When I opened up my Uline account years ago, this was my first, my tier 1 account. And these are net 30 vendors. Some of them will send you, like Uline, if you want to purchase stuff from them, you can purchase the items, but they're giving you 30 days to pay it back. And please pay those people their money, because if you don't pay them, they're going to report it to the CRAs. Quill, Credit Strong, these are all tier 1. So establish at least, I always share maybe 2 to 3 trade lines in the tier 1 category, because that's going to kick off your credit score and start your credit report. Once you have your tier 1 vendors, then move over to tier 2. I'm going to say about 5 to 6 months. And if your personal credit is kind of strong, then sometimes you can move over a little faster. And if you have an actual relationship with one of the banks that's offering these business line credit cards, then it's good to go ahead and get the tier 2s, because that's going to really elevate your business credit score. So Capital One, Chase Inc., American Express, these are the top tier 2 cards that you should have if you are operating a business. And these are all vendors that will report to Dun and Bradstreet. I don't want any card. If it's not going to be reporting to Dun and Bradstreet, I don't even want to have it, because I want them to see that, yes, I am going out and I am acquiring materials, acquiring supplies, but I'm paying for them, and I'm paying for them on time, so it can build my credit. So this is the Dun and Bradstreet. You can see that back here. This is your Paydex score. Remember, that's the business score. And you, ooh, look at that red. It's something about red. It's always at the bottom. It just reaps trouble. I'm glad I don't have it, but I ain't gonna get into that. But it means you're a high risk. When you go up, you see you become a medium risk. When your Paydex score is 50 to 79, but you want to be up there in the green. Oh, I love green. That's one of my favorite colors. So you want to be low risk, 80 to 100. And I just told you how you can start out being low risk. There's no reason why anyone on this call would ever be down in the red or the yellow, because all you have to do is get your tier 1 cards and pay them on time. That's it. It's real simple, starting business credit. So once again, let's just go back and recap. We talked about personal credit, what's going to get us down to that end zone. On the other side, how do we get to the end zone for business credit? We have to register our business. We have to apply for an EIN. We have to get that DUNS number, because that's what starts the process. We're going to add a trade line, either a tier 1 or tier 2. And we're going to continue adding trade lines, and we're going to pay our bills on time. Simple. It's real simple. So now when you go out and start to get those loans and optimize on other people's money, it's a beautiful thing. You don't have to come out of your pocket. So I want you to reach one. I told you that I am a professor, and I'm always talking to youth about building generational wealth. We have to start very, very young. The one thing you can do is get them started with building their credit from the age of 16. If you have a credit card and your credit card is in good standing, make your daughter an authorized user. Make your son an authorized user. Although you're going to be responsible for paying the bill, but you're going to get you're going to ignite the fire in getting their credit profile started and getting that credit score up into the 700s. And this should be done before they graduate from high school. That's the way we start to create generational wealth. So some of you on here already have 700, 800. Some of you all on here already have great business credit, but reach out and touch someone and share this news. Share what you can do to increase your personal credit score. Share what you can do to build business credit. We all want to be to the top together. So if you have any information, or you want me to send you some letters, I'm going to be sending Mr. Clark some letters that can help you with the dispute process, and just send a follow-up pamphlet. This is my contact information, and I just like sharing this. I do seminars all the time, and it's free. I just want to share. I don't want people to be paying all this money for a credit repair. I know that's a person's business, but you need to know what's going on with your own mosaic. You created it, so you need to know what you need to do to help clean it up and make it a beautiful picture. So I want to thank you once again, Mr. Clark, for inviting me to speak tonight. It has really been my honor and my pleasure. And hopefully we can do, more seminars together in the future.
Ms. Roan, we want to take one moment to thank you for participating and for sharing your expertise with the brothers on this call, the sisters on this call, our friends and family as well. At this time, there was a number of questions in the chat, so we're going to open everyone's mic up and allow them to ask questions if you're okay with that.
Yes.
All right. Anyone that has questions, we're going to go around and have you do that at this time. Let's see if I see any hands raised. All right, we have one hand raised. I see Brother Aris V. Martin. The floor is yours.
Ms. Roan, I do thank you for your time and your presentation. I did find it very interesting. A couple of things that I was curious about in order to help my personal growth is the DUNS registration. How does one go about getting a DUNS number? That's my first question. And my second one is, I love the idea of this generational wealth as far as being able to add someone as an authorized user. I have somebody that's 8, but I also have a 30-year-old. Can I actually add my 30-year-old to help her actually improve her credit score even now for her future endeavors?
Thank you so much. That's an awesome question. A lot of times people do that. They, add family members for authorized users. Sometimes people want to get a home right away and they're, like 20 points shy. That's a very quick way to elevate your score. And so definitely with your child, absolutely. That's wonderful. Now the Duns and Bradstreet, you just go to the website and they also have a number that you can call to start the process. Like I said, it just depends on the season about how fast they're going to get the number to you.
Thank you.
Yeah. So do you have a business?
I do, yes.
Okay. So that's something you want to get right away. And let me tell you, the first card to apply for is the Uline. Okay, very simple. They'll send it to you right away. And that's gonna, once you apply with Dun and Bradstreet, that gets the ball rolling. And it's gonna start, because your report can't be generated in a score until you add a trade line.
Thank you for that. Ms. Roan, there's a question in the chat that indicates, what is the name of the website for Dunn's number?
Hold on one second. Whew. Let me look it up on my phone. It's Dun and Bradstreet. DUN and Bradstreet, but I'll look it up on my phone. If you go there, someone can look it up on their phone and type it.
Someone responded. We've got a couple of accountants on here and someone put dnb.com. Does that sound about right?
Yes, absolutely. Okay. Thank you.
No problem.
Martin.
Someone asked, how do we go about getting Dunn's number? I think they can probably do that through dnb.com.
Mm-hmm. Shelby has her hand raised.
All right, Shelby, we recognize you at this time.
All right, I have a real quick question. I have a Duns Bradstreet number. I have a business and had it for a while. The question is, how can I get a copy of my business credit report? Because all the reports I'm getting is on my personal with my social and not my EIN number.
Did you go to Dun and Bradstreet? You could also get it from Experian and Equifax. And
so when I do that, I would then request the report in that EIN number?
Yes, you have to use the EIN number to generate that report.
Okay. All right, Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right. We have another question in the chat that's indicating, can you talk about zero interest balance transfer credit cards?
I'm not a fan on zero balance credit cards because it doesn't show payment history. And I don't know if that's what you're asking. Having credit cards with zero balances, to me, is not a good idea because it's not showing the lender that you are responsible with paying back debt. It just shows them that you have you have a line of credit, but what else is it showing?
I'm sorry, this brother Lindsay. I think I may have printed my question. Where I was trying to go with it is that there are these credit card companies out here that's offering zero transfer. I mean, you can transfer the balance with zero interest rates, but then after a while, if you read the fine line, after 12 months, that interest rate, if it's not paid off within 12 months, the interest rate, it will get tacked on to your balance. I think that's where I was going with the question.
Okay, absolutely. All right. So with that, you just want to pay it off in 12 months. I do a lot of owner finance land. And so there's some deals that I get and they'll tell me, I just got a deal, a guy struck with me, if I pay it off in a certain amount of time, that he's not going to charge me any interest. So if it's not paid, then you just have to pay that interest, that's all.
Are there any other questions? We are nearing the 1 hour mark, so we're wrapping up. At this time, I'm going to allow the DR to give any closing remarks. Oh, I see there is a question in the chat. Okafor, you have a question. The floor is yours. Or Brother Tate, you have a question?
Yes, sir. Greetings, everyone. Yeah, my question is regarding the credit pools. Anytime you get a credit card or your credit is pooled, there is a score that's associated with that. Is there a way that you can have those pools removed after a certain amount of time?
So you're talking about you have what we call a soft credit pool and a hard credit pool. So if it is a hard credit pool, it is going to affect your credit score. And usually they tell you within 5 to 7 years. But like I said, I have a number that you can call. If you don't actually have okay, so let me say it this way. Say you apply for a Capital One credit card, and that credit card is going to pull your credit score. That's a hard pull. And so you're going to get some points deducted, but they don't award you that credit card. Well, there is a number you can call because it's not showing on your credit line. You can call and, basically have that one removed. If it's a hard inquiry that is showing, then a lot of times you have to wait that window to have that inquiry dropped off your credit report. But there are ways to get those hard inquiries dropped off. I always tell people to look at the date that the credit report was pulled. And if it's in that 5 to 7 window, they should start dropping off. And if they're not, dispute them. And Mr. Clark, I don't know how I can get this information to all of the participants online, but I can also provide that number that you can call for each of the 3 credit reporting agencies to dispute some of those hard inquiries.
So I would say get that information to Brother Clark because everybody that's on the call has registered, so we have their email addresses and everything, so we can get that information out.
Okay, I sure will. Be my pleasure.
And I see we got 2 more hands, Brother Clark. If we're going to take those, but I do got 2 important questions. One, you said that your dad and your 2 brothers are bros, but you never said their names.
My dad his name is Samuel Clear, and he's a member of the Ada Nu chapter, Rudy Ford. My other brother is Dennis Robinson, known as Skidrow, graduated from Morehouse College. He is not with us anymore.
All right. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Ms. Roan, we have two last questions. Then we're going to get some final remarks from the DR. We're going to formally thank you, and then we'll close out with prayer. Brother Applewhite or Jamal Applewhite?
Yep. Yeah, thanks a lot. Good evening. Thanks a lot for the presentation. I enjoyed it.
Thank you.
Do you know? Are you familiar with business stacking?
No, I'm not.
Okay, it's like in regards to applying for business lines of credit, and just getting the maximum amount. And I was just wondering if you had any strategies for getting the maximum amount of credit, like what your profile should look like if you're asking a company to give you a amount of money that you can pull from, and it doesn't touch your utilization until you actually tap into the credit.
Okay, what is it called again? I'm gonna read up on
I
it.
think the term is stacking.
Stacking.
So
Is it
yeah, I think it's mostly about knowing the time in which certain companies post inquiries and which bureau they post to, so that
Okay.
you like strategically, I guess, apply for credit so that you get the maximum amount.
You had my contact information. Send me that question because I would like to research it and get a response back to you.
Okay.
Yeah. Want to know about
Actually,
that.
I'm not sure where your contact is. I came in late.
We'll get that information out.
Okay.
Without question.
Thank you.
All right, Okafor, the floor is yours.
Can you hear me?
We can.
Okay, sorry about that earlier. I had a quick question in regards to the business credit. I know there's like you kind of gave a recipe in regards to how you can build your personal credit, but when it comes to business credit, right? I have my business card. Do they look for like volume in regards to building your credit score, your DUNS number up higher to 100 in regards to how much money you're spending and paying back, or is it just literally, hey, I bought a stick of gum, I paid it back? I'm just trying to get a feel for, how one person can build their credit, their business, and then leverage that to get more money than what they're spent, so to speak, at a good rate.
Okay, great question. So once you start building your business credit, let's just say I'll go into Wells Fargo and I want to acquire a $50,000 loan. Of course, they are going to, want to see, if you have any assets that, they can attach to the loan, which your business is an asset. And so they're going to take a look at that. They're going to take a look at your credit score. So there are a number of factors, not just so much your paydex score, that helps you to continue to leverage on business credit. But that is a key. That's the score basically gets you in the door. So if you are down there in that low level, they're not going to even consider giving you a loan. But when they see that you have a score that you're paying on time, now they're going to take it up a notch and see, what are some of the assets that you have? How much money is your business generating every month? So you see what I'm saying? The score helps you get in the door. And then once you're in the door with the lenders, then they're going to start taking the other information about your business, and that's going to determine how you can start leveraging the amount of money they're going to approve whatever you're looking to, get for your business.
All right, if there are no other questions at this time, we're going to have our closing remarks from our 38th 10th District Representative, Brother Sean T. Long, at this time.
So first and foremost, Mrs. Roan, thank you very, very, very much. I'm pretty sure that there's some brothers on this call that, they got all the financial wizardry in the world and they only learned a little bit. But I'm also sure that there are a bunch of brothers that's on this call and a bunch of people that they learned a lot today. And so anytime that we can walk away with a little bit more knowledge and we can solidify our financial futures and take control of our financial journey is a great thing. And so, brothers, I want you all to take this information back to your chapters. I want you to take it back to your households and put it to use. As we continue to try to build and strengthen the African American community, the main way, and this is the one piece that's missing, is strengthening our finances and strengthening our financial institutional knowledge. And so I want to just thank you all for taking the time. I know we had a conflicting international MSP meeting tonight, but don't worry, we're gonna do one for the 10th district. So brothers, if you feel like, if you felt like you had to be here or you had to be there, we're gonna make sure that you all are taken care of. But again, thank you for coming together tonight. We're gonna do this once a month, right, Brother Clark?
Yes, Brother DR.
So we're gonna do this once a month, where we're just gonna talk about different topics to strengthen your financial knowledge, so that we can have some incredible impacts, not just in our communities, but also in our homes. One of the things that I learned is the lower your financial knowledge, the more you're going to pay, right? And I think Ms. Rome talked about that earlier, is the lower your credit score, the more they're going to charge you for the very same thing. It's like if you got a 750 credit score higher, you can go and get a car with 0% financing. But if you got a 600 credit score, you're gonna be paying 12% or 24% or whatever they deem it to be at that particular time. And over time, all that does is cost you additional money that could be going towards a savings account, an interest-bearing account, or an investment account, or whatever the case may be. So this information is extremely important. So with that being said, I want to say thank you all, and I'm looking forward to doing this again. And thank you, Brother Clark, for pulling this together.
Thank you, Brother DR. Again, Ms. Roan, on behalf of the brothers of the 10th District, we want to thank you for taking out of your time and your busy schedule to grace us with your talent to help us be better financial stewards. We absolutely appreciate you and don't take any of this for granted. I want you to also know that in the 10th District, we believe in taking care of those who lend their time and talent to us. So you actually have a plaque coming to you on behalf of the 10th District. I obviously can't present it virtually. And then we have a small $200 gift card that accompanies that plaque for us, to just our way of saying thank you. Obviously, we know that that's not enough of the value that you've given us, but we definitely wanted you to know that we appreciate you and we thank you for taking your time out to be with us this evening.